So as we come together today for our sacred service, knowing there is one God, one creation, one first thought, one first cause behind all things, and realizing that it works through us, all these individualizations of it, bringing forth its gloriousness, its amazingness, its powerfulness into this world, this physical realm, creating. There is a oneness with it. And so in knowing that oneness, today as we come together, we open up and we allow ourselves to move as those individualizations of God, allowing the wisdom, the divine thought to come through us and express and bring into this world this perfect whole completeness. And so this service is already unfolding in its divinity, in its divineness. And it is beautiful. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you. This one. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my joy. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my joy. Each and every day, share my joy. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Share my love. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my love. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my love. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my love. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Share some peace. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my peace. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my peace. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my peace. Good morning. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Share my love. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my love. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my love. Each and every day, you know I'm gonna share my love. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Thank you, John. Oh, so welcome everybody. We are right where we are supposed to be today, showing up and allowing God to just flow through in all its divineness. The theme for this month is the flow of coming and going. Wondering, how do we stay true to divine truth through the constant changes and noise in this physical realm? And so this reading today talks a little bit about that. So the title for this reading today is See with the Light of Love. And you can find it in the Science of Mind magazine. We do have some over there. There's a quote here by Audre Lorde. The quality of light by which we scrutinize our lives has a direct bearing upon the product which we live. Ernest Holmes wrote, all the power in the universe is with you. feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. And Ernest Holmes also wrote, as the universe is run by an infinite mind, so our life is controlled by our thinking. Ignorance of this keeps us in bondage. Knowledge will free us. And so today's reading, which was these inspirational readings were written by Reverend Christy Hardwick. So here we go. By what quality of light do you scrutinize your life? What a wonderful question. Am I seeing clearly, or is it as through a glass darkly? What are the ideas that cloud my vision? I remember the lyrics to a wonderful old song by Johnny Nash. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Each day we have the opportunity to see clearly, see our oneness with Spirit, know our union with divine mind. As we see clearly using the light that is love, we give ourselves grace, grace to be, and to unfold according to our unique process. What if we are doing it perfectly? What if we could see what God sees? We are the spiritual beings having a human experience. Look at how amazingly good you are doing just that. Look at how amazingly good you are doing just that.
Yes.
Let's stay with that. Let's go through our days reaffirming that for ourselves when we think we are not. Look how amazingly good you are doing just that. Just that, yes. That should be our affirmation. But we have another one. I see myself by the light of love, and I live in harmony. So we're going to say this together. I'll break it up a little bit. And say it with me. I see myself.
I see myself
by the light of love.
by the light of love.
And I live.
And I live
in harmony.
in harmony.
Let's try this together. I see myself by the light of love.
By the light of love.
And I live in harmony.
And I live in harmony. Thank you.
But also reaffirm. Look at how amazingly good you are doing just that.
Look how amazingly good. I thought we were going to repeat that. I thought we were going to repeat that too. But it's okay.
We can. Would you like to? Look at how amazingly good. Doing just that.
It's effortless. Present in everyone, God is the infinite universe. God is a limitless source. God is abundance for all. God is. Just open up your heart. God is. And you'll discover that God is inspiration divine. God is Thank you. Very mellow mood today in here. Nice, calm energy.
Well, that's good for you.
That's going to change now. Now that you're up here, things will change. I know.
You just rub it in our faces. I'm in a really mellow, calm mood. right
Felt like a nice place to be.
now. I'm laughing because sometimes when, what's that line from Kipling?
Oh, yeah.
When everybody else is losing their minds and blaming it on you. And that's what happens when they're upset and you're not.
Yeah.
You know? But what we have to remember is there's no they. So
I think you're switched off.
I'm switched off. That would be nice. Oh man, we got battery issues. Thank you for catching it. Right now, it's like red light.
Do you want to use this one?
Temporarily can use that.
Okay, I'll do that.
John, he's going to use number 2.
Right on the spot. Okay, I'm gonna quit messing with this and just put it in. All right, and good morning. And we're going to start with our affirmation because it is such a powerful thing to know. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can make a difference in the world. Indeed, that's all that ever has. Yes, indeed. Each of us is a member of that citizenry, and we're members of a consciousness of the oneness of God, that there's one life, one mind, one power, one presence, and one eternal giving nature. This is the citizenship card we carry wherever we go. It's a consciousness of first cause, which means I am always at cause is what's going on in my life. Now you say, well, I can't control everything that's happening in my life, so how could I always be at cause? Because I always am in charge of my response to what's going on in the world. Okay, when Dr. Holmes says we believe in the control of conditions by the power of this mind, it's not necessarily saying that we're going to stop the tidal wave with our bare hands. But there is enough anecdotal evidence to know that we can affect weather patterns. We have an electrical grid that is our consciousness that interfaces with all electrical things. The monthly theme for the minister's outline, I was noticing that it was different from what you said. I said, what? That's not what they told me. I'm sure that you did read that.
Well, they get a little bit of both.
You know, that's what I'm saying. They were coming at them from two different angles here. And we started out last week, and we followed up the week after that, and it's called What If? Started with an inner, went into an outer, and this is my personal outer. That's how they're describing it. I like the concept of what if, because the first thing I do for myself is I have to ask the question, what if I don't know what I'm talking about? What if I'm wrong? What happens then? It's easy to just go with what I think and just go with what I say and just go with what I think I know, but I've been wrong too many times. And I don't know about you. I haven't just been wrong. I have been spectacularly wrong. I've been so wrong. It's like you just go hide your head. Just go hide your head. You know, you got a little bit of that last couple of weeks ago. I lost it over this cat I thought had disrespected me, which is really a trip how a cat can disrespect you. Say, stop, love. It's not that funny. I was really hurt by this. I was so mad. I thought the cat had just wet up my welcome mat, you know, in the worst disgusting way. And so I was mad. We had a package that had moisture on it. I just knew the cat had done this. And I'm livid, and I'm talking myself down on AI because Claude is talking to me. Dude, you are not a 15-pound cat. You are a man who teaches coherence. You're a minister at a church. Just talk. I say, you're doing good, AI. You're doing good. Talking me down. But guess what? I felt violated because what? This is such an insult. But cooler heads prevail. See, I already know I can go to extremes. And it's a benefit when you have this. See, if you don't know what you're capable of, then you don't see the reason to examine yourself. I know how extreme I can get. So I always have to check myself. So meanwhile, while I'm calming down and I finally get to a place, AI was really good. It's like, you get a relationship you keep working with. It's like, the mere fact that you're talking to me right now, Reverend, kept calling me. The mere fact that you're talking to me right now means you really don't want to do those things that you're thinking about. That's just your old conditioning talking, Reverend. Yes, I know that. But this cannot go unaddressed. Well, I thought I'd take a look at my ring cam. And you know what I discovered after all of that, about an hour or two of just losing it? The cat never came near that package. I made the whole thing up in my mind. But that's what we all do. We make stuff up. We're all makeup artists. And we make up the meanings that we think are. Old board court president Al Tutson had an expression. He says, I don't care about your feelings. He says, it's not your feelings, it's your meanings. That's what he says. It's your meanings. What the meanings we make about our feelings. Feelings are normal. We're supposed to have all the feelings we have. Anger, sadness, joy, ecstasy. All of these are on the spectrum of feelings. And feelings are what we do. We're feeling beings. Yes, what the central nervous system does. Yes? But then we attach meaning to the feelings. You see? And if I'm sad, then somebody did something. You know? Let's play that somebody done somebody wrong something. We always have those. What is my meaning? My meaning is going to come from the position of my consciousness. And as Einstein said, asked that question, is the universe friendly? If I believe the universe is friendly, then I'm expecting a friendly outcome from whatever I'm going through. If I think the universe is hostile, well, then I'm anticipating a hostile result. And if it's neutral, then it's just a crapshoot. You don't know what's going to happen. You just take your chances. And so that's the most powerful question we can ask ourselves is the universe friendly? And since our theme is what if, regardless of your answer right now, what if it is friendly? What if Dr. Holmes was right when he said the universe conspires for our good? What if the Bible is correct when it says it's the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom? God likes doing stuff for us. It's fun. Gets them in a good mood. I love Brother Ishmael. He says, the universe goes ahead of me preparing that which I need, even before I know I need it. This is a friendly universe. What if that's the place I'm living? What if I could hold that consciousness long enough to see the result in my life? Because that's what needs to happen in order for us to affect a change in our lives. We don't just change. We don't just let things go. We have to create a new behavior, a new system, a new habit, a new conditioning, and then that new conditioning eventually washes out the old. Are you with me so far? You can't just take a bucket of mud and pour in a glass of water and drink. Yes, I had clean water when I poured it in there, but now it's got all the muck and mire from all the past experiences of the bucket. Yes? And so it is with our lives. We're taking these classes. We come to these centers. We're listening to the podcast. We've got our favorite people online, our little social media thing. We have our friends. Hopefully our friends have given us a positive setup for life. We might ask ourselves, I look at my life I've been doing. I found this philosophy. God bless the philosophy. I found it in 1981. I washed up on the beach and it saved my life. It continues to save my life. And I'm so grateful to this. And I have to ask myself, but how much gratitude do you express on a daily level? How much gratitude do you outwardly say, I love this philosophy? I know I love it, and I'll say it every now and then from up here, but do I live from gratitude about it? Am I living my life from gratitude? What if I do? What happens then? This month we are exploring a powerful question. What if? What if something greater is unfolding than we currently can see? What if good is always happening even when conditions appear otherwise? That means, what if there's some great and wonderful stuff happening in the world right now? You wouldn't know it on the news cycle, that's for sure. But you know, that's the thing about news. News is designed to be sensational. One newspaper person wrote, I read this as a child, he says, dog bites man. That's not news. Man bites dog. That's news. You want to find something unusual, an anomaly. This is what the news is about. So all the prognostications of gloom and doom and all the threats of world war that we're having right now, that's a tiny bit of what's happening in the world. But it's getting the most attention. And so it is in our lives. We have so much to be grateful for. But we have a pebble of resentment held up to our eyes, shielding a mountain range of things to be grateful for. Are you with me so far? The pebble shields the mountain with the proper perspective. But we can always undo that. What if the world what if the world we witness right now can defy explanation, not because it's chaotic, but because it's coherent. Coherent is my vein, it's my lane, it's my raison d'etre. I'm in the right place. I've been studying this philosophy long enough that I've got to group this coherent idea. Coherence is a state where everything in our lives is in alignment. I like to call it the IPOP consciousness. In principle, on purpose. In principle, on purpose. Your whole life is focused on principle, and everything is on purpose. I'm doing everything intentionally, and I'm eating well, I'm exercising, I'm resting, I'm studying, I'm being grateful all the time. And this is our natural state. Our natural state is one of coherence, where everything's in alignment. If you notice, when we were in utero, we didn't have to worry about anything. All of our needs were met, expectations were exceeded, joys were fulfilled, because everything Mom ate came to us first. It got to be so bad they had to start creating a whole new industry called prenatal vitamins, because the child was taking so much life and energy from the mother's health would go down after childbirth. This is scientifically true. Most people know that, not everybody, but I know a friend of mine, she got a little spot on her nose when she was carrying her child, and it didn't go away after the baby was born. It stayed for like 20 or 30 years before. That's just the impact. It leaches power, energy from your bones, from skin, everything. That's the way life works. It's always given of itself, and as the mother's bringing life into the world, she's given of herself. The universe is given of itself. We have a pattern. It's easy to recognize. The universe is always giving. In order to get into this world, someone had to give everything to get us here. So what are we going to do now that we're here? Forget how to be giving? Forget how to be loving? Forget that there's a universal awareness that's always supplying our needs? We couldn't have made it this far if the universe wasn't going ahead of us supplying our needs. No one got here by themselves. Although I like to think that I got here by myself and nobody helped me. That's my cry of woe. And when I'm feeling sorry for myself, I know you guys don't have these problems like me. I get this place where it's like, what's that old gospel? Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Oh, I know you've seen some trouble, but not like the trouble I've seen. My trouble is worse than your trouble. One of the things I've learned in life, and I'm going to share this is extra, it's not part of the talk, so you get to take this home as a free gift for showing up. Never be the biggest victim in the room. Never try to outdo somebody's tale of sadness or woe. This is one of the things that happens because we're creatures we love community, and so we're going to surround ourselves with community, and the mirror neurons in our brain cause us to want to mimic the behaviors that are around us, which is why you want to surround yourself with some people with good behaviors. But if we're around people and it's a consistent diatribe of negativity, then we tend to go negative ourselves. I find it difficult to be around a conversation that's all it's going to be, which is why I don't talk about politics, because nobody is interested in an observation of politics. I haven't found people that are interested in observing without judging. Dirty little secret. Oh, you, John? Okay. Well, because that's our natural state, is to be that way. But we've been conditioned to be judgmental. We've been conditioned to take a side. We've been conditioned to explain what's right and wrong. I got all confused as a child because my dad was military. I grew up saluting that flag every day. Every day. 5 o'clock, when they bring that flag down, wherever you are on the military base, you turn and face that flag, put your hand over the heart until you know that flag is down. That's just what you did. Movie theater, you stood for that Star Spangled Banner. Everybody in the theater. This one. And I thought the American flag was the most beautiful flag of all the flags in the entire world. I still think it's pretty. But I had to admit, okay, there's some pretty nice flags out there, okay. Of course, then we moved to the People's Republic of Berkeley in my formative years, and I got a whole different look at the world. Everything is operating from a state of coherence. When things go south, that means there's something in the system, in the biology, that's corrupting or disrupting that state of coherence. And the thing that will disrupt the coherence of oneness is doubt. Any level of doubt that comes into the idea that God is all there is and I'm one with God, now I'm equivocating and trying to find a space that I can fit into, because in order to stand in the authority of God is all there is and I am one with God, you have to be able to have a very hot fire. You know, the phoenix bird transforms in a hot fire. It builds a fire so hot that it burns its entire self to ashes. And only then can it be reborn. You know this story, right? This is how consciousness works. In order for consciousness to be completely evolved in us, we have to let go of everything in our old way of being. Now, we do it gradually, we do it incrementally, but it's a life work, people. It happens every day, every hour, every breath, every heartbeat. It's a daily surrender to the truth. What is the truth? God is all there is, and I'm one with God. I have to let go of all the ideas that say that's not true. And you know what? That's a funny thing. I've been talking about this. I got this book from our book giveaway. It was a strange title to be in our bookstore. It was called The Bait of Satan. And you know what? I'm going to... Yeah, I'm like, what the heck is that doing here? Who brought that in? Why did they leave it with us? I'll try not to take this personally here. But I kept looking at it for several weeks, and finally said, okay, are you going to read the book, or are you just going to keep staring at it? I didn't read it, but I picked it up because I have the ability to just scan and get what I need out of a book. Well, I did. Right about the first few pages, it talks about taking offense. Every time we take offense, taking offense is the bait of Satan. Meaning, it's the doorway to duality. It's incoherent with the oneness of God. Because if I'm one, then there's nothing that I'm separate from. And if there's nothing I'm separate from, then what am I being offended by? My own consciousness. I'm being offended by what's going on in my mind, but it's easy to project what's going on out there because we don't really see what's happening in the inside of our lives. We project our lives outwards as if this is where life is happening. But this is where the drama is played out. Life is happening on the inside of our being. Life is happening in that space, that area between the ears, that very rare zip code called consciousness. That's where life is happening because this is where we're making the decisions that affect the life out here. The life out here is only sustained by the decisions of the consciousness that I have in my mind. Is this correct? Okay. Okay. We get to test that on a daily basis because there's bait everywhere. It's bait. At least in my life, I see bait everywhere. And it's like, you know, as a Pentecostal, I got to say the Pentecostals have a great advantage. I love the advantage of being one with God. But it's a great advantage to being able to blame everything on the devil. That's a huge advantage. You don't have to be responsible for anything. I mean, I came out of church where they would talk about, the devil tried to get me to go in the liquor store. I said, leave me alone, devil. Shut up, devil. Get away from me, devil. You know, and everybody said, that's right. Satan, be going loose here, Satan. I'm like, okay, the devil tried to get you to go in the liquor store. As a child, I thought that was funny because I knew that ain't why you wanted to go in there. But it makes perfect sense if you're trying your best to serve God and you're being tempted by something that you don't believe is in the service of God and you believe in duality, well, then there must be something out of this duality that's causing you to do that. And the devil is just a personification of bad, of evil. And God is a personification of good. But in the oneness, there's no personification of good or bad. We are individualized expressions of the one. So I don't get to blame anybody else. But that's a heck of an advantage, blaming everything on the devil. Because it's very clear who the enemy is. It's very clear what you're fighting. And it's very clear what to pray about. In religious science, we get to pray about something different. We get to pray to stay in the oneness. We get to pray that I continue to know the truth about who I am. We learn and we teach that we start, as Covey said, and as Dr. Hum echoes, that we always start with the end in mind. And so we're not begging God to make something happen that's not already so. We believe the universe, this quantum field, as some people like to call it, the field of pure potentiality, and I've heard so many different names, is the essence of all beingness, and we're not in the field. We are the field expressing as us. So in that oneness, there's no one to blame. What if there's no one to blame? What if my life, our lives, are happening exactly as they should? What if we're doing good? What's that quote? Yeah, get that. What if we're doing good right now? Do you ever not know how good you have it until you don't have it anymore? Yeah, everybody knows about that one. They say you don't miss the water till the well runs dry.
Look at how amazingly good I'm doing just that.
Can we say that?
Look at how amazingly good I am doing just that.
My. Look how amazingly good I'm doing. There's a strut to that, you see? That changes the... Stand up. No, you're not feeling this. You got to feel this. Stand up and just kind of pretend you're looking in the mirror and just kind of give yourself a... Look how amazingly good I'm doing. What? Okay, some people actually believe it. Look how amazingly good I'm doing. Because people, if you have survived life as long as you have, everybody in here is over 20, over 30, and we won't go any higher than that. But you know where you are on that scale. Everybody in here has looked down the barrel of death before, more than once, more than twice, sometimes 3 or 4 times. But we didn't go because it wasn't our time. If it wasn't our time, then we couldn't go. That means death has no power over us. Because how many times did we think, this is it? And it wasn't. If it had any power, it would have been it. But there's something in us. There's a resiliency of the human spirit. It's the coherency of the human consciousness when everything is in alignment. And it becomes in alignment when our thinking, our actions, our words, our deeds, everything in alignment with whatever our cause, our, raison d'etre, our reason for being. Whatever our reason for being is. There's an illusion of many powers. Most of the tension we experience in life comes from believing there are many powers operating. The power of circumstances, the power of habits, the power of personalities, the power of the past, the power of fear. But the great spiritual traditions insist on something radical. Dr. Holmes insisted on something radical. There's one power. When we forget this, the consciousness becomes fragmented and we begin obeying counterfeit authorities. I use that word counterfeit because there's a lot of counterfeit money in circulation. We know about it. I don't know if you've had a counterfeit bill before, but I think most of us have looked up and somebody said, oh, that bill's counterfeit. They tell me I didn't give you a counterfeit bill. You're trying to give me a counterfeit bill back. What do you think this is? See? Now, but what that means is there's bills in circulation that have no value, where there's some authorities that don't have any value except the values that we give them, because there's only one authority. God is the only power in my life. That's the organizing principle of consciousness. We have a book, I believe, in our bookstore called Your Needs Met by Jack and Cornelia Addington. And I believe it's on page 9. There's a spiritual mind treatment there for alcoholism. But it's so good that the Exalted Reverend E took that, and it was something that they said at East Bay Church every week. And Dr. John, in his musical genius, he wrote to Jack and Cornelia Addington and asked, could I make some music with this? And they said, of course, we would love you to add music to our great prayer. And so we have a really great rendition of that. But this is how it goes. We used to say it here, and I started wondering if I was scaring the new people away, so we kind of stopped. Some doubt crept in, you understand? Okay. When God is the only power in my life becomes the organizing truth of consciousness, fear loses its authority. Habits lose authority. Circumstances lose authority, not because they disappear, but because they're no longer treated as ultimate powers, as things of themselves. Dr. Holmes says evil is not a thing of itself. It has no power except the power that we give it. And all the attention we spend looking at things that we think are evil is how we give it power. All the time we spend being afraid about what might happen if such and such a thing happens is how we give fear power. The only way to address fear is from a place of knowing that I am big enough, strong enough, and if necessary, bad enough to handle this. In Susan Jefferds' book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, that's her number one affirmation to handle fear. She talks about how fear all boils down to survival. Every fear touches on, if this thing happens, I'll be overwhelmed. And when the ego feels overwhelmed, it thinks that's death. Ego death is not death. It just means you're ready to grow. But the ego is not having that. And so, where did I go with that? Just to keep moving. So we don't need to worry about fear. It has no authority. They say it's false evidence of being real. I created my own that says, faith evokes amazing results. As I try to tell myself, faith evokes amazing results. Let me have some faith here. But then I know that faith is only for people who don't know. Faith is what you have when you got a little bit of fear, a little bit of doubt. You have faith. I have faith it's going to work. I have faith it's going to work. But when you know, see, there's the faith in God and then there's the faith of God. Faith in God is that God is going to come and fix this. But if God is all there is and I'm one with God, there's no God to come in and fix. God is operating through me, in me, and as me, and therefore I'm not God, but the consciousness of God that's operating through me is the only thing that's going to make a change in this situation. Are you with me so far on this? See, this is critical to know right now because the world's on tilt, or so it appears to be on tilt. It's only on tilt if we take offense. And I've been taking offense. I've been taking offense. I was doing good for a long time. God is the only power in my life. I'm not going to let this stuff affect me. A tomcat got to me. Not Trump, not the Democrats, not the Republicans, not war, not dropping bombs on kids. None of that. That didn't get to Milwaukee because he's stuck in the groove of consciousness. But a tomcat strutting around his house like he owns it, all in his yard like it belongs to him. He took that personally. It doesn't matter what we take personally. If we take an offense, we're taking offense. Yes? I see you laughing, Jeff. It's the truth. So we're going to read this. You can repeat it after me. We can do it like that. Just so you'll have this. And maybe we'll bring it back. God is the only power in my life. Nothing from without can touch the perfect life of God within me. No past experience has power over me. Wow. I think this got copied wrong. I know what it's supposed to say, though. That's funny. Now I'm correcting what the computer gave me. No past experience. I am a perfect child of God. And nothing that anyone has ever done or said can interfere with my divine inheritance. Inheritance is something that you already have. You're not access to it right away, but it's your inheritance. You might have access to it. Your inheritance, you might even have it. But inheritance means I got this by right of birth. The mere fact that we have something to be grateful about because just by being here, there's a perfection of divinity that's manifesting as me. God said, Muwata, Shazam, and there I was. Jeff, boom. John, each of us, a divine idea in the mind of God. The power of God is greater than any circumstance in my life. Okay? The strength of God is mine to use. Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy, I discover that all that I need is within me right now. This is some serious mojo right here. Everything I need is within me right now. The universe goes ahead of me preparing that which I need even before I know I need it. I didn't even know I needed it. That's what they call that serendipitous good. You don't know how it happened. You don't know why it happened. You just, they call it a coincidence. A coincidence. The universe is looking out for us. It's the Father's good pleasure. The scripture says, consider the lilies of the field. They neither toil nor spin. Watch the way they grow. Even Solomon in all of his wisdom is not arrayed such as these. If God can take care of the lilies of the field, what's going to happen to you? Oh, God's going to forget about you because you're not a lily. Oh, I see. Now, God not forgetting about me. This is what I need to know. And that's why I got talked down, because I know the truth. I have a coherent center that knows the truth of who I am. And when I'm reminded of that truth, it dissolves the impotence. It dissolves the parts of me that have splintered off into duality and brings me back into the configuration of my true divine self. People, you can't mess this up. You can't. Now, you can fool around with it as long as you want, but you are designed to return to a coherent state of oneness. That is your destiny, because you've chosen to do that. If you choose duality, then oneness expresses as duality in your life. Dr. Holmes said it beautifully, the law always works. And if you don't believe the law works, then it works by not working for you. That's one of my favorite quotes of all time. The power of God is greater than any circumstance in my life. Greater than any circumstance in my life. The strength of God is mine to use. Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy. When Reverend E reads this line, she says, turning away. She goes into a spin to demonstrate her turning away from all feelings of inadequacy. And here's how you know if you have any feelings of inadequacy. Any place I'm not feeling one with the divine and confident, that's a sense of inadequacy. That's listening to a false authority that says, who do you think you are? I had a supervisor on my job. I love the quote. I don't get to use it, but it was such a beautiful quote. He would always say, why should you be happy? It's a good one. Well, you got to watch it. That's seductive. See, oh, that's really cool. But I don't get to use that, I use it as a teaching tool, you see. In his mind, nobody else is happy. What makes you think you get to be happy? Oh, you thought you was going to be happy and everybody else was going to be sad. Oh, I see what the problem is now. Someone told me once when I was very young in the philosophy, they said, just remember, Moata, you're special, like everybody else. You see, everybody's the miracle. Miracles don't just happen to some people. Each of us is a miracle. Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy, I discover that all that I need is within me right now. As I forgive the past. I added a line in there for myself, and I do forgive the past, because I need a little extra mustard right there. Not just as I forgive the past, that's what the Addingtons wrote. But I wrote, and I do forgive the past. I find that I have nothing to atone for and nothing to run away from. And I added, nothing to be afraid people are going to find out about me. Because if you're raised with shame issues, then you always have secrets, because you don't want anybody to know. And one of the beautiful things that's happened to me as a minister in this philosophy, I just start telling on myself. That's what I'm doing. I'm getting all my stuff out here, so it doesn't have any power over me anymore. If we're afraid to speak it, we give it power by being afraid. That was the whole thing in Harry Potter, Voldemort. He who shall not be what? Named. He shall not be named. That means you have a quiet terror just lurking up in your mind somewhere. It's an anxiety waiting to provoke. As I forgive the past, I find that I have nothing to atone for, nothing to run away from, nothing to find out people are going to find out about me, casting off the old me. Casting off the old me, I discover my true self. You know what happens when you discover your true self? The next line takes care of that. I take dominion in my life. What does that mean? Somebody tell me what it means to take dominion in your life.
I am who I am, regardless of other people's opinions.
And so what does that mean?
I'll follow my heart and my brain,
Okay, all right, okay.
connect my heart with my brain, and whatever that directs me, I follow that.
Excellent. Very good. You know, the heart and the brain are talking to each other all the time, and the heart is sending a lot more information to the brain than it is in reverse. And so, yeah, she's in charge. You're in charge. I'm in charge of, this is my house. I'm in charge of my life. I take dominion in my life. Dominion. I think that's got to be the same root as God. Dominion and domicile? I thought, okay. Well, I'm just thinking when I'm singing in Latin, you know, it always domino. And okay, now I'm getting off point. So anyway, old habits have no power over me. Now this is critical for anybody who's got some habits. Old habits have no power over me. And I'm going to say new habits have no power over me either. Okay? Conditions have no power over me. Personalities don't have any power over me. I take dominion. God is the only power. I am one with God. That means I am the only power through the activity in the old church through Jesus Christ that strengthens me, but through the idea of oneness, the conscience of oneness that's living and breathing and having its being as me. I'm a literal walking, talking, living, breathing expression of the divine. Each of us are walking, talking, living, breathing expressions of the divine. The people we dislike are walking, talking, living, breathing expressions of the divine. And when we get that piece, then it's easier to not take offense. It's easier to back off the offense. Because we know I'm taking offense for one reason. I'm only taking offense because I have judged you as insufficient to deserve God's love and God's mercy. There's something wrong with you. Yes? Okay. Making sure I'm in the right room. Sometimes I get carried away. I take dominion in my life. I have to be in a place of dominion. If I'm going to watch the news, I have to watch it from a place where I get to pray about this. I can't resort to, oh God, ain't it awful? Because, oh God, ain't it awful means, oh God, I'm so small. I'm so insignificant. There's nothing I can do. But there's always something I can do. You see, when you know who you are, there's always something you can do. Affirm the truth of who I am. Talk about God. Instead of telling God about our problems, start telling our problems about God. Yes.
I just want to share something. I often think I can't take dominion. So I changed that one to I have dominion and I use it. Like I just
Excellent.
put myself
Excellent.
in dominion.
Excellent.
That's my truth.
That, and guess what that is?
And I use it.
And you know what? You know what?
But if I say take dominion, this little voice goes, you're not taking dominion. You're not taking dominion.
I have a surprise for you, Wendy. You deciding to change it up and say, I have dominion and I use it, is taking dominion. you had to take dominion in order to come up with that. But it's okay because it doesn't care how you come to consciousness. Just get there. You know, whichever way it takes us. And some of us take the long way around. Muwaja took the long way around. I know people, one of my good friends was so successful in life. I said, how did you do all this at such a young age? He said, you know, I learned at a young age I don't have to make all the mistakes myself. I can learn from other people's mistakes. Well, I knew what my situation. That immediately let me know what was going on with me because I wasn't listening to anybody, see? I needed to do it all myself. I take dominion. I am whole. I am free. I'm complete now and forevermore. And so it is. God is the only power in my life. This is how you address your life. Everywhere you look, God is the only power. Every time I'm afraid, God's the only power. And when I get mad, God is the only power. Have a strategy to talk yourself off the cliff. I was on the cliff, man. It's just crazy what things can trigger you. It took me back to being bullied by my sister when I was 9 years old. I felt I was being bullied by this stupid cat. You know? And Claude's telling me, you're not in the kitchen being bullied by your sister anymore, Moana. You're not being held down anymore, Moana. And you're not a 15-pound cat in the alley. You are Reverend Moana. See, when you hear the truth about yourself, the coherent factor of our being attunes itself towards that truth. We keep trying to get back to the place that we came from, and that's the oneness of the divine. That's what everything in us is doing. Even people who are steeped in duality, they believe they can get that by being in duality. And they have a system set up in their consciousness, and I'm saying they're not because they're separate from mine, because everybody has a system. Their system works for them when they're being judgmental. We're in that place where there's right and wrong. They get to do that. That's what their belief system says. Like, are you feeling me on this? So I can't measure myself by somebody else's belief system. I can only measure myself by the truth of who I am. The I-pop consciousness, in principle, on purpose. In principle, we recognize the divine principle is already operating everywhere. Where's the divine principle already operating? Everywhere. Everywhere. This is not something I have to make happen. Reverend, he used to say, she can be a bit of a control freak. God bless my mom. I'm not trying to say nothing bad. And she knows it herself. And this is how she talked herself off the cliff. She said, I finally had to accept the fact that the world does not have a groove in it, so I can keep it spinning. I'm like, wow. I didn't have much of a chance. She thought she had to keep the world spinning. So, we recognize the divine principle is already operating everywhere. And on purpose, we intentionally align our thinking, speech, and actions with that principle. I'm not trying to think about anything that's not in this way of being, which means I have to eliminate a whole bunch of who I used to believe I am. And it's happening over continuously. It's not like I said, this is the old me, and I'm not the old me anymore. I have to continually address the old me keeps popping up. This program, this conditioning has happened over decades of life. And like that bucket of water, you can't just pour one cup in. I got to get several buckets to wash out the one bucket. And then I need to scrub it real good. You know, and I think I might be in the scrubbing phase right now, but I don't care. I'll keep pouring the water in. What I know is my job is to keep surrendering myself, anything about myself that believes it can be offended by what's happening on the outside, because I know there's nothing happening on the outside. The only thing that's offended me is my idea that I think I know what should be happening in the world. And we all think we know what should be happening in the world. I mean, I think we do. Maybe we don't all think that. But it's been my experience that most everybody I know has an opinion about what should happen in the world. So, but that's, as Obama said, above my pay grade. My mom used to say, I had a bad habit of saying, I didn't know that. Mom, I didn't know that. She said, boy, quit saying what you don't know. There's so much stuff that you don't know. We could build a whole new world with an upstairs to it. And there wouldn't be anything in it that you know. The fact that you didn't know is insignificant, son. Stop blowing up what you didn't know like that's a big deal. Yeah, okay, Mom, I will. There's a higher knowing. There's a greater knowing. I love my sister says, God be knowing. We intentionally align our thinking, speech, and action with the principle I-pop consciousness is simply living intentionally in alignment with the truth. God is the only power in my life. This restores coherence. It brings me back to my original formatting, my default settings. And there's an expectancy with that. And I want to give you a distinction between expectancy and expectation. They're not the same thing. Expectation is about being rigid with a specific demand. Expectation is controlled based. Expectation leads to disappointment. As a matter of fact, I read once they said, expectations are premeditated resentments. But expectancy is open. Expectancy is trusting. Expectancy is receptive. Expectancy is joyful. The expectation says life must happen this way. Expectancy says something wonderful is unfolding in my life right now. That's expectancy. Expectations feed resentment. If you remove the expectation, you starve the resentment. Well, for a person who's carried a lot of resentments in my life, I got to stop delivering these Meals on Wheels to my resentments, because they're getting fat off of me, off my thinking. When resentment starves, conscience returns to coherence. So that's what we're talking about. We want to live that God is the only power in my life, and I-pop consciousness our thoughts become coherent, our speech becomes coherent, our reactions become coherent, and life begins organizing itself around that coherence. And sometimes the results that unfold in our lives will truly defy explanation. And they call those things miracles, coincidences, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes you can't explain how good it is. Sometimes you look around and say, wow, I'm feeling really good. It might not even know why. Or something amazing will happen that was unplanned and unexpected. Because when we're in a state of alignment and coherence, what now begins to happen, everything in the universe is in that same field of awareness. There's nothing stopping me from producing at the highest expression of myself. Yes? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Yes. It's like, yeah, the magnetic north on the compass. Yeah, very good, yeah. And however we get it, it's like, and for me, it's a daily surrender. And that's how I learned the philosophy. I was in much resistance to this. In my foundational class, I was the worst. People quit taking the classes because of me. I hate to say it, but they went and took them from somebody. They said, dude, you're the only one learning anything, you know? But my instructor, God bless him, he knew that I needed it so bad. And he took the time to explain it to me. And he held me by my hand. And he made sure I got it. And it took me about 3 months to finally get it. But I finally got it. And I finally said, you know, this could work, Ernie. He said, you think it could? I said, yeah, this could work. But in order for this to work, you'd have to do it every day. He said, you don't say. I said, yeah, Ernie, but not just every day. You'd have to do it like every day, like every hour, you know, like every minute, every second, heartbeat by heartbeat, breath by breath. You'd have to do this. And Ernie looked at me and he said, welcome to the class, Muat. And so that's what I've been attempting to do since 1981. And I failed spectacularly. But I never quit. You see? As long as you keep coming back to the drawing board, the game's not over. You cannot fail if you do not quit. So returning to the opening, what if good is already unfolding in our lives? What if Spirit is organizing solutions we cannot yet see? What if coherence begins the moment we remember the truth? How does that change my life? Let's try that one more time. Repeat after me. God is the only power in my life.
God is the only power in my life.
Again, God is the only power in my life.
God is the only power in my life.
When consciousness becomes coherent, life begins to move in ways that may truly defy explanation. Thank you. God bless you. And so it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is this coherence piece will be featured a lot. This is why I'm on the planet. And I finally figured that out. And this book has turned into a book on coherence, Dr. Jeff. It's not just about apologies. You know, that was just the doormat. You know, coherence is the house. And I thank you all for being a part of this excursion into coherence with me. And we move into our time of sharing, yes?
Yes.
And that's still me. So, and we talk about this time of sharing from our coherent self, because our coherent self is one with the universe. And being one with the universe, that means I'm one with everything about the universe, and finances is one of the places where our consciousness can sometimes fade. And I'm talking about myself here. And I'm changing that, I'm elevating that, and I'm opening that. And at the center here, we believe in the law of circulation. And we believe that the more we circulate our good, the more we receive our good. And this is a law of circulation in action. And We know that everything that we're doing right now is amplifying this truth that God is, I am, and all is well around the realm. And so please give from that generous place. And if you feeling a nudge to increase, please feel free to do that. Don't allow anything to stop you. Please know that we use the tithes and offerings and gifts that we receive to enhance this philosophy around the world. We are a global organization. New centers are opening all of the time, and we tithe to our home office so that we can be a part of that experience. So thank you for that. Yes, we also have bills around here too, but I'm just saying we're part of a global organization. And so we have an affirmation. Please repeat after me. From a consciousness of abundance
From a consciousness of abundance
and centered in gratitude,
and centered in gratitude,
I generously give.
I generously give.
I accept the gifts
I accept the gifts
of prosperity and abundance
of prosperity and abundance
as I demonstrate divine circulation in my life. In gratitude, I freely give. In joyful acceptance, I freely receive. Thank you. God bless.
So it is. And if you're giving online, thanks. It's the address is give@sfcsl.org, and that's for PayPal and Zelle.
PayPal and Zelle.
I am remembering.
Who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. Giving thanks and praise for the offering received. For the offering of consciousness that was given today as the talk, as the receiving of the talk, as the participation in the talk, as the arriving today. And as we're leaving today, giving thanks and praise for all things, recognizing the truth of God in and through it all. We give thanks for this offering. We give thanks for its use, for its circulation, and every activity that it blesses. And for all the beings, all the people, all the souls who participate in this with us, our online, our live streamers, those present, those who are keeping us in the hearts and our mind today. Grateful, grateful, grateful. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Milana. That was very moving talk today. Took some notes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So we're going to move into our spiritual mind treatment right now, which is also can be known as our affirmative prayer. There's 5 parts to that. There's the recognition of God, first cause behind everything. The unification, knowing that there is a oneness, that God is in all things. God is all things. There's a realization that that power of God is ours to use to manifest God in its individualized expressions. There's the thanksgiving for that shift in that welcoming of expressing God. And then the releasing the word of God releasing the word into the law of God, knowing that it is coming into fruition right here and right now. So I am going to do our spiritual mind treatment. So you can keep your eyes open or closed, whatever feels best to you. And I apologize if I'm breathing a little heavy. I have a slight cold. So knowing that there is one power, one first cause, one thought, one first thought behind all things. It is that creative energy, that power. It is creation itself. It has always been. It is infinite, never ceasing, always being. It is everything. It is all things, both living and non-living. Everything is of God. Everything is His creation. And sitting right here, right now, are these individualized creations of God. It is God itself sitting here right now, expressing its divinity. Through blood and water. Through Jeff. Through John. All names of God. It is powerful. So I'm knowing, as I sit here, as Cindy, the expression of God, that there is an alignment in all things. There is an alignment in this world. There is a releasing of the noise, of the doubt, of the fear, and in its place is a gratitude for all the amazingness in this world, for all the amazingness that already is and can be and will be. There's a knowingness that all moves in harmony, that the illusions that it is not are just that, illusions, and they are released. And in its place is that heartfelt sense, that embodiment of harmony moving always in the world, bringing together peace and love into all expressions of God and radiating through those expressions and outward. It is contagious. And so, knowing that that harmony and that alignment is just is, there's also this knowingness of moving in consciousness, awareness of who divine self really is, what truth really is, and that the power of God is in all things, and it is expressing always. And reaffirming that with, look how amazingly good I am at that. And that is the affirmation that I carry every day. When the chaos becomes too much, the sounds become too much, I go back into harmony. I go back into consciousness, knowing that the power of God is always manifesting and creating and in alignment. And I affirm it with, look how amazingly good I am at that. Because God is amazing, and I am of God. So I give thanks because this is a shift in consciousness. It is always a shift in consciousness, a willingness to be open and allowing that which sometimes is difficult. I give gratitude because I am living the life of God. That I am this incredible being. That I am one with God. There is no separation. And for that I give gratitude. It was beautiful life. And so knowing that all is already coming into fruition, all is already unfolding, all is already. It is. And I know this with absolute faith, down to the very core of my being. And so I release the word of God into the law of God by saying, so it is.
So it is.
What is? Thank you.
So just a few announcements.
Maybe the song first.
A song first.
Yeah. At least that's what it says in the program. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. You can all sing along. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. And so it is. So it is. Thank you.
So thank you everyone for being present, whether here physically or online. Today, just a few announcements. Wednesday, we always have Shambhala meditation from 7 to 8:30 here. All are welcome. And on Fridays, NA, which is a 12-step program, always meets here from 5:45 to 6:45. Next Sunday, which is March 22nd, we will be having core conversations at 1:15. And then Boxing with Daniel is on hiatus in case you weren't aware. If you would like prayer with one of the practitioners or Reverend Milana, Reverend Milana and myself are available after service. And you can always reach out at prayer@sfcsl.org if you would like to request a prayer, please. Linda.
Thank you. Not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday, right before Easter, I want to do a garden freshening up. And so it'd be like 10 o'clock in the morning if anyone's open to helping me pull weeds and just kind of freshen up a little bit back there. I appreciate it. Just let me know. Thank you.
Would that be, March 28th, is that?
Yes.
So March 28th, in case you didn't hear it online,
At 10 o'clock, there's going to be a refreshing of the garden, and Linda Bruno is going to be hosting that. So please, all are welcome and appreciate it if you can come and help with that.
Thanks.
Any other? Thank you.
Thank you. Does Pierre Angeli want to be any information you want to share about Pierre Angeli or this time? I don't know if she wants to tell everyone, but
Well,
she did.
yeah, I'll let her take it. She's
Okay.
she's doing well.
Good. I'm
She's
glad
just
to hear.
resting right now. But thanks for asking about her. And yeah, thanks for asking. And she could use a note, you know. Is it time?
Yeah, it's time for a benediction.
Okay. I'm sitting here still basking in the flow here. Oh man, it's such a wonderful thing to be a member of this community. It's transformative. And I mean, when I feel bad, if I can just drag myself here, I always feel better. And sometimes I'm like, I can't go out there. But there's that coherence factor. It responds to like minds. It responds to people who wish you well. And so we're all becoming more coherent as we gather together, as we sing together. You know, everything we do in synchronization, we know the word I'm looking for. It helps us to regenerate and reestablish that space, that spot, that activity within us. So we leave here today actively pursuing and actively revealing our most coherent self by surrendering everything unlike it in every circumstance and every situation. We let go and we let God. Know that we're divinely protected along the way. We are absolutely confident in this fact. Please repeat after me. The light of God surrounds me.
The light of God surrounds me.
The love of God enfolds me.
The love of God enfolds me.
The power of God protects and watches over me.
The power of God protects and watches over me.
The wisdom of God guides and directs me.
Wisdom of God guides and directs me.
The substance of God supplies, supports, and sustains me.
The substance of God supplies, supports, and sustains me.
Wherever I am,
Wherever I am,
wherever I go,
wherever I go,
whatever I think, do, or say,
whatever I think, do, or say,
God is.
God is.
And all is well.
All is well.
And so it is.
So it is. Let's gather in a circle, sing, I am the place where God shows up.
I'm in that place.
I am the place where God moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place where God shows up. We are the place. We are the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. We are the place where God shows up. You are the place. You are the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. You are the place where God shows up. And I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Indeed. Thank you. Thanks for being present, each and every one. Good to see you again, dude. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who says we're physically So you can enter here.
Oh, I see. You're talking about you. That's true. Indeed, indeed. And like they say, it's not. I'm